Tonight we going hard, lights, magic, sparks, and you might come past across the 6'4" chick flinging all vice spots with a shout. You thought that's Candace Paul. She may be a lady, KB, past the Christy, cool as the AC, the ice princess, no record of it. She got a nigga out in the spot, she take risks. WNBA smoking, loving the best 'cause they all say hard. Tonight we going hard.
And good evening, WNBA and LA Sparks fans, and welcome into the LA Sparks 365 Network, your 24/7, 365 comprehensive home of the WNBA and your two-time WNBA champion Los Angeles Sparks. Coming later, folks, with our first of 34 upcoming Sparks 365 post-game shows tonight following a disappointing LA Sparks loss to the Seattle Storm by the final score of the night of 86-61. Good evening, folks. Welcome to the post-game show the night for Saturday night, June 6th, 2015. We are joined tonight, folks, by our off-the-bench subs tonight. We have Crystal Thomas in Los Angeles, currently in the hangout. We'll be joined momentarily by Shorty Mamba 24. They're filling in tonight for our swingman host, Kristen Mancy. Crystal, good evening. Thank you for stepping in at the last possible moment. Shorty will be in shortly. How's everything been going up there in L.A.? And, of course, I know a tough game tonight, but other than that, how's everything else been going?
Everything's going pretty well. Can't really complain.
Yeah, I don't think anyone can complain. Again, folks, we'll be joined shortly by Shorty Mamba 24 on Twitter. She'll be hopping in to join our broadcast team momentarily. With that, folks, that gives me a chance to remind you again that next Sunday, as we kind of look ahead away from tonight's game, again, next Sunday, the first of three upcoming LA Sparks 365 host meet and greet nights, again, next Sunday, beginning at 12 o'clock or 12:30 p.m. at the Star Plaza entryway at the Magic Johnson statue. With that, folks, the LA Sparks, after a off-season of change, a new head coach, a new coaching staff, new players coming in, and the first game of the regular season does not go according to plan as the Seattle Storm rout the Sparks 86-61. Final line score for Los Angeles, 18 in the first, 14 in the second, 13 in the third, and 16 in the fourth for the game total of 61 for Seattle. 20 in the first, 15 in the second, and they absolutely ran away with the game in the second half. 22 in the third, and 29 in the fourth quarter. The Sparks box score goes as follows. For the Sparks, Elena Beard, 20 points in 32 minutes played. Aaron Phillips, 11. Jantel Lavender, 10. Jen Lacey, 7. Andrea Hoover, 5. Jen Hampson, 4. Mariana Tolo, 3 points. And Faria Abdi with 1. Tamika Johnson, no points, and Nneka Gumake did not play because of that minor sprained ankle she sustained in the game last Wednesday up in Connecticut. For the Storm tonight, winning their first game of the year, Renee Montgomery, 19 points, Crystal Langhorn, 18, Sue Bird and Alicia Clark all with 11 points, Jenna O'Hay, 8 points, Jewel Lloyd in her first rookie game, 7 points, Ramu Takahashi, 6 points, Quadriana Hollingsworth, 4 points, Abby Bishop, 2 points, and Kalena Mosqueda Lewis and Markeisha Gatling and Angel Goodrich all held scoreless for the Storm in the ballgame. The final team totals for the Sparks in the ballgame this evening, the Sparks went 23 of 67 from the field, a 34.3 field goal percentage, made 4 of 22 three-pointers, a miserable 18.2%, and went 11 of 13 from the free throw line at 84.6%, and had a game total of 34 rebounds, 17 assists, and 8 turnovers in the ball game. 1 block shot in the entire game as well, and with a game total of 61 points. For Seattle, 33 of 64, 51.6% shooting, 9 of 20 from beyond the arc, 11 of 19 from the free throw line, 57%, 36 rebounds, 21 assists in the ball game, and 86 points in the ball game. Now, Crystal, before we even talk about the game, of course, a lot of frustration from the fans across Los Angeles and San Diego County. Of course, Crystal, the game today blacked out on NBA TV, and also not shown on Time Warner Cable Sportsnet at the scheduled start time due to a booking conflict with the LA Galaxy playing a game today at 7:30 at home that was shown on local television. Of course, the Sparks game can be seen in its entirety at the bottom of the hour on TWCS7 and TWCD. Crystal, in your mind, though, okay, I know that there was a lot of frustration, a lot of people very irate and upset about this, but Crystal, are you at all surprised, though, that the Sparks game got booted away for a more important game on local television in Los Angeles and San Diego County at all? Or your thoughts about this entire thing as we look at this going forward?
I just think it's kind of unfair that every time the Sparks have a game, it seems like they always get the short end of the stick. It seems like they always want to broadcast other teams. So I guess I would say it's kind of unfair, and it always happens too often.
We are now joined, folks, by Shorty Mama 24 in the hangout from the Snake Pit up in Los Angeles. Shorty, good evening. We just went through the box score quickly. Yeah, before we even get to the game, Shorty, how's everything been going with you? Because I know we've tried to get you guys, both of you guys, on the show in the past couple of weeks and haven't had a chance to. How's everything been going up there for you, though?
Everything is going good so far. I had a little technical difficulties before hopping in, but I'll try to get through the night, so I'm good for now.
Now, Shorty, we were just asking Crystal the same question, but again, now to you. Now, of course, Shorty, a lot of irate fans, frustration growing amongst the Sparks fan base, not only about how bad the game was, but also for the game not being shown on local television on both Time Warner Cable Sportsnet and also on NBA TV, blacked out in the LA and San Diego markets. Shorty, in your mind, okay, we all know that there was a prior event scheduled on Sportsnet 7:30 where the Galaxy played the Vancouver Whitecaps in MLS soccer. In your mind about this entire thing, should there have been something else done in order to accommodate both games on local television? Or, Shorty, in your mind as well in the future, what can be done to get both, to get teams that have the same station to have their games air at their same scheduled start time and not waiting until 10:30 at night to watch a game?
Well, in LA's case, the delay was certainly due to NBA TV wanting to use the TWC feed, So not only did it block out the game for LA fans, but other fans across the nation that wanted to see the game on NBA TV, they couldn't access it. So possibly in the future, for NBA TV at least, they could start using the other team's feed instead of using the TWC feed all the time. I know they wanted to connect with TWC because the Sparks do have the best national TV announcers in national TV network with TWC, but they should have, for tonight, they should have used the Seattle Storm's feed instead of the Sparks. And also for the Sparks, I'm not sure. They were, blacked out because of another game going on with the Galaxy. And of course, let's be honest, they're always going to put the Galaxy over the Sparks, because the WNBA always gets the secondhand treatment. So I'm not sure what they'll do with that in the future when it comes to Galaxy versus the Sparks, but hopefully they'll work something out.
And for the fans that were upset about the Galaxy being showed, you can also give some applause. The Galaxy lost tonight to Vancouver 1-0 on a goal in the 32nd minute of that contest at StubHub Center. So there's a little bit of some fairness there that both teams lost tonight on television. But Shorty, we'll start off with you here with the game. Okay, obviously there's a lot to kind of talk about with LA again. As we all know, we were all following along on the stat trackers tonight for the ball game. Okay, Shorty, I know I said this, and there is a golden rule I live by, where you can't judge a team by one game or judge the book by its cover. But, Shorty, obviously, the Sparks are an exposed ball club without Nneka Ogwumike, Candace Parker, and KT not playing, Shorty. Any early observations? Obviously, we have not seen the game yet, but, of course, at least judging by the stat sheet, any early concerns after one game so far about how exposed the Sparks really are, missing three key components of the roster right now?
Well, as of right now, LA is pretty thin, especially with the recent injury to Nneka Ogwumike. So we missed our franchise power forward there. But other than that, looking at the box score, for the starters, minus Avdi, they were decent, good stuff from AB, 20 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Aaron Phillips dishing out 5 dimes, that can't be overlooked. And also for the rookie Andrea Hoover, 5 points in 10 minutes, so she did the most with what she was given. I just wish that Jennifer Hampton would have been given more time, but at least for her, 4 points, 3 rebounds, she did good there. So even though the Sparks got blown out of the water, I mean, you can take the little positives from this game, as I just laid out there, and hopefully LA can build on that for the next game.
Crystal, in your mind, any early concerns? I know, as we said, the Sparks are very thin right now. Again, no Parker till July 21st after the All-Star break. No Tolliver for the first 8 games. No Anna Debovic, and, of course, Nneka Ogwumike out with the ankle sprain. Crystal, in your mind, is there any early concerns, though, that you may have seen, on the box for the night? In your mind, what do you think?
I kind of have a concern with our bench. We really don't have what's going on with our bench there. I guess we tried, with who we signed, but really don't have it. Outside of Hampton, who I think should have gotten more PT and Hoover, like Shorty said, he did well. But other than that, we again have that's the problem. They never, they never have a bench.
Shorty, we'll go back to you now as we move on to the next game here. The Sparks tonight in Seattle boat raced 86-61 in Game 1 of the 34-game 2015 season. Shorty, let's kind of look ahead a bit to next Sunday. Now, again, the Sparks will face the very same team they played tonight in Los Angeles at Staples Center, 2 p.m. The game can be seen on television. I already made sure of that, folks. It will be seen on television on TWCSN. Shorty, in your mind, as we kind of look at this, if Ogwumike is not able to go again, do you believe, though, that Brian Agler goes to Jen Hampson to possibly get her a starting role, perhaps, as a bit of a backup? Or, what do you think happens, though, to the starting 5 if, in fact, Nneka can't go for Game 2 again next Sunday against the same team? What do you think?
I for sure think, looking at this lineup, I think in LA's best interest, they could start Tamika Johnson at the 1, slide Phillips to the 2, and have AB at the 3, then have Tolo for Lavender 5, because they cannot have Faria Abdi in the starting lineup next game. They just can't. I mean, looking at her stats, 23 minutes, 1 point, 1 rebound, 1 assist. That's all you did for 23 minutes. That is unexcusable, unacceptable. We can't have that.
Crystal, what do you think going forward? Obviously, we were all sort of, taking we basically took a sledgehammer to the gut seeing Faria Abdi start in the lineup today. Again, I'm sure, though, Game 1, working out those kinks, seeing what puzzle pieces fit where. But, Crystal, in your mind, though, who do you go to if, in the event, again, that Nneka Ogwumike cannot go next Sunday? In regards to the starting lineup and also the severity of her injury too.
I actually like that lineup that Shorty presented. It was way better than whatever Brian Agler tried to piece together today. You could also, you probably could have started either Jennifer Lacey in her place, or you could have, like Shorty said, slid Tolo over. You could have probably slid Tolo over, but I don't even know. I don't have any words as to why he possibly thought Abdi was the way to go. And then she was just shooting him. She thought she was KT out there tonight. Like, she was just behind the line. Like, I don't get it. It was so confusing, and it was frustrating to watch because you want to root for Abdi at the same time. You're like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I think it was kind of a head-scratcher, I guess, to see Faria put in the lineup again, folks. Faria Abdi's slash line, if you wanted, 23 minutes, 0 of 8 from the field, 0 for 5 from beyond the arc, 1 free throw made, and finished minus 15 in plus-minus efficiency, 2 personal fouls, a rebound, 1 assist, and a point in the ballgame. Now, Shorty, Elena Beard, again, who the Sparks reeled back in via free agency during the offseason, has probably one of her best games in a long time, putting up 20 points. And also, folks, going above the 4,000 career point mark for her illustrious career in the WNBA. But again, Shorty, like I said, though, last night, is when teams rely too heavily on star players, it's not a good sign going forward. But Shorty, though, can you really discount what Elena did tonight? Again, 20 points in the course as well, going past the 4,000-point plateau for her career.
No, you cannot, because for tonight's game, they needed it. They needed it. I mean, we all know that AB is toted well for her defense, but in this game, they certainly needed her offense, and she came through with the 20 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. So she did well tonight.
Crystal, what about Elena Beard's been a fan favorite in LA for a while. Of course, famously was scapegoated for how the Sparks faltered in 2012 to the Lynx in the WNBA Conference Finals against the Minnesota Lynx. But tonight, Crystal, a whole different Elena Beard, I think, we've seen in quite some time. Would you probably say this has probably been one of her better games in quite some time? What do you think?
Yes, I would say yes. Right now, is she did a great job of that. And for in basketball, they help the way here. I think.
Shorty, as we look back over the box score real quick, how about Erin Phillips tonight? She in her first game with the Sparks, plays 33 minutes, and of course, helps out from beyond the arc. She puts up 11 points in 33 minutes. Of course, her first game there. Shorty, is this sort of like a things to come for seeing Erin Phillips with the Sparks for the next couple seasons with her A game coming to the forefront, of course, and of course bringing the three-point shooting that the Sparks have needed for quite some time to LA as well?
Yes, I most certainly agree. I mean, even for this first game, of course they lost, but she played pretty well in this game, and I mean, she did what she could in tonight's game, but I'm pretty sure on down the line through the season, and when people start coming back, CP, KT, and Debovic, she'll definitely have more options, more weapons to dish dimes to, and her assists, like I said, just with this roster tonight that they played. I mean, 5 assists so far. Imagine having those 3 come back later on in the season. I can see her assist total going way up. So, I mean, for her display tonight, she really brought it.
Crystal, in your mind, of course, Erin Phillips, a great player, one of the coolest players to be around in the entire league. Goes out there her first game and does what she does best, being flashy with the 5 assists, and of course bringing that the 3-ball game back to Los Angeles. How would you say she played for her first game in purple and gold today?
She also proved that she can also be another scorer, another shooter. We need another scorer, since like Jordan is going right now. So I think she did well. I thought she played really well. I mean, that's the kind of attitude LA needs. Their biggest players are out right now.
Shorty, back over to you. We'll get to one final player for the Sparks before we check in with the Seattle Storm. Jantel Lavender today at the forward spot today, not getting out of her normal center position tonight at forward this evening. 35 minutes, 10 points. Okay, maybe not the best scoring game for Lav, but of course her adjusting to playing forward for the time being while both Aguma K's out, along with, of course, the absence of Parker, also playing the forward and center spot. Obviously, Shorty, probably a minor tweak there made by Brian Agler, putting her at forward. But other than that, what would you say about Lav playing tonight at the forward spot and not at her normal spot of starting at center?
Well, just personal opinion, I think Brian should have kept her at her 5 spot and put Toa at the 4. But, I mean, this is amazing with her playing forward and she still gets a double-double. I mean, that just goes to show you the testament and the improvement of Jantel Lavender. I mean, just to get a double-double playing the forward spot, I mean, That is really great. And regardless of how this season continues on, I think we'll be seeing a lot of great things from Gentel this season.
Crystal, what do you think? I mean, we see Lab, get the first double of the year again, put up 10 points and have the 10 boards this evening for the Sparks. And, of course, we said, moving from a center spot to the forward position, maybe a minor tweak there made. What do you think about Lab's overall performance in tonight's game?
I think Lab will be an all-star because, she's going to be big for LA. And the fact that she was out of position, I don't think people realize how hard it is to play out of position when you're so used to one position. And the fact that
so true.
That the fact that she did with ease that's something that us LA fans can be comfortable with.
Again, folks, tonight Sparks lose tonight up in Seattle for the first game of the year. They get beat by the Seattle Storm 86-61. And Shorty will quickly look over a few players that stand out for the Seattle Storm tonight. We'll start off quickly with Renee Montgomery, the leading scorer tonight. Throws up 19 points in 17 minutes of action and made 3 of 6 from beyond the arc. Obviously, Shorty, Jenny Bosek saw something in Renee Montgomery when they made that trade over the offseason to get her from Connecticut. What do you think about how well she played tonight for Seattle?
Oh, my goodness. I mean, we already knew that, she was a pretty good, player, but just to come off the bench and do what she did tonight, I mean, she played very well. And, that trade that the Sun made this offseason, it made sense considering, there were a lot of guards over there, and they pretty much knew her time was up. So you could say for right now, at least for this one game, that Seattle is really going to benefit from that trade because Montgomery, I mean, she's a very great player, and she showcased that tonight against the Sparks.
Crystal, what do you think? I always say a lot. Change of scenery always helps athletes when they are going through a rough time in their career, and they go somewhere else and they start, fitting in right. They're a bit more relaxed. Is that what you would kind of say about Renee Montgomery going from Connecticut to Seattle?
I mean, I would. I mean,
exactly.
We don't know if there anything per se was wrong with her at Connecticut. Like if this situation was bad, I feel like her going to Seattle may have been better. Maybe the system's better. Maybe the people who are around her are better for her. Therefore, she's going to play better because she just had a pretty monster game today. I mean, 19 points. Are you kidding me? That she did pretty good tonight.
Again, folks, the Sparks tonight taken down by the Seattle Storm this evening. Up in Seattle, 86-61 is the final score. And we will, of course, be back with you folks in a couple of days again. And, of course, next Sunday, of course, with the Sparks having their home opener as well. Quickly, guys, one more player tonight that I guess sort of came in with a lot of hype around today's game and didn't really have much of an impact on the ball game was rookie guard Jewel Lloyd. In 27 minutes, only had 7 points this evening for the Storm in the ball game. So obviously, Shorty, first game jitters for both her and Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis. So obviously, no big deal, right? I guess, right? Knowing again that first game jitters, getting that out of the way, and so I guess we can move forward with that as well. What do you think?
Definitely agree. First game jitters. I mean, not bad. Looking at her stat sheet wise, I mean, she did decent for her first game. But on through the season, she's going to start getting more comfortable with the game, and of course, the physical aspect of the WNBA at the pro level is always different from college. So she's going to take a couple of games adjusting, but on down the season, comfortable.
Crystal, obviously, I'm sure we all have first game jitters when we all played sports or whatever. So obviously, no reason to panic, right? Because she only had 7 points in her first game.
No reason to panic. I mean, the game's different. The game's faster. The women are stronger. They're bigger. So I just think she kind of has to. It's kind of like when you first start to swim, you gotta learn how to doggy paddle. Right now, she's doggy paddling, but she'll eventually get there, and when she gets there, I think she's going to be a dangerous player.
I still dog paddle, and I'm 21 years old, and I'm 6'4", folks. So obviously, you got to learn somewhere. You got to start somewhere to break ground. So that's what it is. By the way, folks, Chris Woodmansey, our main guy, our main host, of course, out tonight with a bit of an illness, but he did though say he says I say NECA will play Sunday since it will be a week off till the next game to get her 100%. So that is his thoughts about NO not playing in today's game. And again, the Sparks falter tonight to the Seattle Storm, 86-61. Across the league tonight, hopscotching around the WNBA this evening. Finals from earlier today: Washington over the Liberty, 67-62. The Lynx hold off the Fever, 78-69. And the Tulsa Shock threw up 101 despite 40 points from Elena Deladon. Take down the Chicago Sky in Tulsa, 101-93. Now, Shorty, Chris made a pretty bold statement on Thursday, saying that the Liberty were going to win the Eastern Conference title. So it looked good when they took down Atlanta on yesterday in their first game, and of course on the back-to-back, always tough to do. And Shorty, also the Mystics, shockingly at 2-0. What do you think about your overall thoughts, I guess, about both those teams going forward as we look now across the league? What do you think? Jordy, I'll ask you ask you again. I guess we may have had a glitch there. We've been having a few of those the past couple nights, but so obviously with Washington taking down the Liberty tonight in Washington D.C., I guess any thoughts you kind of have about both those clubs going forward as we get as we do go towards the later part of the season?
I think the Mystics are building. They're continuing to build the roster, and they will definitely be a playoff contender this year. And, about the Libs, I mean, they looked good, last night versus Atlanta. Of course, they kind of faltered here today, but I think they will be a dark horse this year. They'll definitely be a dark horse team this year. In Chicago, I have them number 1. I mean, EDD, 40 points. That is MVP-like numbers, but it was a very great win for Tulsa. I mean, dropping 101 points, that is insane. After, nearly winning a close game to the Lynx last night. So, Tulsa is most definitely going to be my playoff team this year.
Definitely.
Crystal, what do you think as you look across the league today? You see, Washington go to 2-0. The Lynx, of course, 2-0 start. Tulsa throwing up 101 points. What kind of stands out in your mind through 2 games so far, or in LA's case, only through 1 game across the league so far?
I want to agree with everything that Shorty said, but I do also want to say that it still is early in the season. So right now things are looking very well, for a lot of these teams. But we got to see what happens when they hit the stretch. Because sometimes you already know. Sometimes hitting the stretch, teams kind of fall off and kind of just go in depth. But I do think I have to say I do agree with Tulsa's going to watch out for. Tulsa's not going to let you just beat them around. It's blowing out the water like past years to really trying to go hard.
Now, Shorty and Crystal, before we wrap up for the night here, as we approach the 30-minute time frame here, and we get ready to close out for the night. Of course, last night the the Phoenix Mercury, of course, were given their 2014 WNBA championship rings, and of course the banner being dropped at the U.S. Chevy Center, soon to be Talking Stick Resort Arena. But of course, Shorty and Crystal, the night highlighted last night by WNBA President Laurel J. Ritchie, presenting honorary team coach Mia, a 12-year-old girl again who suffers from rare bone marrow failure again, which is a disease that affects her bloodstream, where her blood only produces red blood cells, and she lives off of blood transfusions and generous donations by blood donors like myself at local blood banks. And of course, the WNBA, the Mercury organization, taking a step further to give her her own championship ring yesterday. Shorty, any thoughts about seeing that? Because like I said yesterday, those are the types of stories I love seeing and talking about, to see these kids that battle these diseases day in and day out, and they can go live, have a wish come true or their dreams come true to be a part of pro sports. Your thought about seeing what this generous deed done by both the Mercury franchise and the WNBA in your mind?
I think it was great, for the Phoenix Mercury and on behalf of the WNBA to, present, Mia, the Phoenix Mercury championship. I mean, I think that was very great, to, present, something like that to.
Crystal, I mean, obviously, I'm sure you guys both watched, and we showed the video.
Definitely classy on both the merch and the WNBA.
Yeah, yeah, Shorty, completely agree 100%. Crystal, as we go to you on this, I mean, as you guys may have known, we played the video twice on the network last night during the top of the first show and towards the end of it. Crystal, your thoughts about seeing, and what I say is a very inspiring story, again, of how, a very young person that battles, a very rare disease, again, that attacks her bloodstream and stuff, and to see, both her favorite sports team and the league go out of their way to make her feel like she's part of the team as a whole. Your thoughts about seeing that video yesterday, or what?
I thought it was awesome. It was pretty cool. I mean, you really don't see that many professional sports teams do things like that, and for them to take the time out to make her feel a part of the team, I thought that was really special, really sweet. And her reaction was priceless. Like, she loved it. And, I think that was amazing. Like, it's a pretty good, feel good story. I liked it.
Yeah, I think all of us in here liked it, and again, with myself being a blood donor, folks, that makes me smile from ear to ear all the time to see so many great people that are willing to give up either their blood or their vital organs to save someone's life. That gives me hope for the future about where we are going in both the sports world with making these dreams come true, and also in the medical field, of course, with the advances we've been making to cure cancer and cure these diseases that have taken so many great people that we know, whether it's famous athletes, loved ones that we know very well. But of course, a great gesture, a great job, and an incredible night last night for both the Mercury on the court and off the floor as well with what they did yesterday. Again, folks, your final scores from across the WNBA today once more. Again, Mystics 67, Liberty 62 from D.C., Lynx 78, Fever 69, Tulsa 101, Chicago 93, and of course Seattle over LA 86-61. Crystal, Shorty, real quick before we do get out of here, we want to ask you real quick. Okay, I know that we're only through either one or two games, but Shorty, is there one person right now through two games that you would probably say they're going to win the 2015 MVP award? Shorty, who do you think it is?
The race is between EDD and Maya Moore. No questions asked.
Crystal, what do you think?
I would have to agree. EDD, she came off just scoring 35 yesterday, and then today she scores 40. Like, that's crazy. Like, EDD must ate her Wheaties or something, because she's balling on them right now. Like, 40 points, it's for sure EDD or Maya Moore, but I think it's going to be EDD, though. I think EDD has it just by a little bit.
MVP award going once, twice, sold to all three in the Hangout. I agree 100%, folks. I mean, to put up, okay, it was one deal, guys, that we saw Maya Moore put up 30 or more in 12 straight games last season, but this year with 35 and 40-point games in both your games to start the season, early votes, and Sue Favor did a poll, and she said she already received about 10 to 20 votes already for EDD for MVP. As we do get out of here for the night, Shuri, we'll get your last thoughts on the game tonight, and also any thoughts going forward to next Sunday's game versus the Seattle Storm in Los Angeles. What do you got?
It was atrocious. There's nothing else to describe it. I mean, it was very bad. They got blown out on the road, but hopefully, NECA, heals up during the time off, and then by next Sunday, hopefully she could rejoin the team, and LA can build something from there, and hopefully get back on the winning track.
Crystal, in your mind, any final thoughts before we cut out for the night about tonight's game and going forward the next Sunday versus Seattle back at home at Staples Center?
I'm not going to blame Abdi for the whole game. Everybody had their part, but Abdi, to be fair, Abdi did play pretty bad too, but it's not just her fault. I do think that, I mean, there's so much space in between their next game. I do think that space will help in return of Nick. So hopefully, if she does come back, the game will be a little bit better. We'll go with a W next time.
Final thoughts here, folks, of the game tonight. Again, one game a season does not make, but again, as I did say, the Sparks right now are pretty exposed without Candace Parker, KT, and hopefully they will have Neko Gumake back healthy next Sunday. With that, folks, on the opening night of the new season on June 6, 2015, the Seattle Storm at home take out the LA Sparks 86-61. The next game again for the Sparks is next Sunday, June 14th at 2 o'clock p.m. against the same Seattle Storm squad at Staples Center. And, of course, next week is the first of 3 upcoming LAS 365 meet and greet nights. So meet us at the Star Plaza Entryway at the Magic Johnson statue, facing LA Live on Chickern Court at 12:30 p.m. With that, folks, until sometime this week, we'll figure it out for you folks. Till sometime soon, have a safe night. Drive home safely. Thank you all for coming. And good night now. This has been the LA Sparks 365 Network. We are Sparks. We are LA. We have a WNBA. We'll see you folks back here in a couple of days. And by the way, flip on over, folks, to TWCSN. The game can be seen live and in full right now on Time Warner Cable Sportsnet and on Time Warner Cable Deportes. For both Crystal Thomas and Stream Mama 24 in Los Angeles, Cal McClure down here from Studio 171 in San Diego signing off, and we'll see you folks in a couple days. Bye-bye.